Welcome back to the sanctuary of deep dives and honest conversations. Welcome back to whatever you need. If you have been searching for a place where the superficial layers of celebrity culture are peeled back to reveal the raw, beating heart underneath, you have arrived at your destination. Before we embark on today's profound journey, I invite you to become a permanent part of our community. Please take a moment to subscribe, press that like button to help the algorithm find other thoughtful souls like yourself, and if you wish to support the rigorous work we do here, consider clicking the join button to access exclusive perks. Your support is the fuel that keeps this engine running. Today, we are turning our analytical lens toward a duo that has captivated the collective imagination of millions, Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel. To the casual observer, they are merely the stars of the moment, the faces that launch thousands of tweets and adorn the covers of glossy magazines. But to those who truly look, to those who watch with their hearts rather than just their eyes, they represent something far more intricate. We are not here to discuss the fleeting glitter of the red carpet, or the hollow echo of gossip. We are here to explore a concept we are calling the empty heart. Do not let the title mislead you. This is not a story of despair. It is a story of the terrifying, beautiful silence that exists after the director yells cut. It is an exploration of how two people, besieged by the noise of adoration, manage to find a quiet clearing in the forest of fame to plant the seeds of their true selves. When one observes Barış Baktaş on screen, there is an undeniable gravitational pull, a grounded intensity that suggests a man who does not merely recite lines but inhabits the very soul of the character he portrays. His performance style is not loud, it is lived in, possessing the rugged texture of reality. Contrast this with the luminous presence of Yağmur Yüksel. She brings to the frame a poise that feels almost classical, a warmth that radiates through the camera lens, turning fleeting glances into complex, layered narratives of their own. Together, their chemistry is not a fabricated product of a writer's room, it is magnetic, elemental, and undeniable. They have proven, project after arduous project, that they possess a range and nuance that leaves the audience feeling deeply understood, as if their own hidden emotions are being played out on the screen. However, as the spotlight burns brighter, illuminating every corner of their professional lives, a darker, more intriguing question emerges from the shadows. What occurs when the adoration ceases for the night? What is the texture of their reality when the sets are dismantled and the heavy makeup is wiped away? Society has a habit of projecting a flawless, porcelain existence onto public figures. We imagine their lives as a continuous stream of euphoria and validation. We forget that the drive home is often silent. We forget that the weight of expectation can crush the simple joy of existence. We forget that having everything can sometimes amplify the sensation that something essential is missing. This is the paradox of the empty heart, not a void of tragedy, but a cavernous space of solitude that every artist must eventually face. We are just scratching the surface of this analysis. As we delve deeper into the psychology of these two stars, I want to ask you, our loyal viewers, what is it about Barış and Yağmur that resonates with you personally? Is it their resilience or is it their vulnerability? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, here at Whatever You Need, we prioritize the stories you want to hear. If there are other Turkish icons whose inner worlds you want us to map out, drop their names in the discussion. Your feedback shapes our future. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss a chapter of these stories. The surprise in our narrative today does not come wrapped in the scandal of a tabloid headline or a shocking revelation of betrayal. The twist is far more subtle and infinitely more human. It lies in how Barış and Yağmur navigate that aforementioned emptiness. In a world that teaches us to fear silence, to fill every quiet moment with digital noise or distraction, they appear to treat this emptiness not as a pit to be feared, but as a threshold to be crossed. Consider the metaphor of a blank canvas. To the anxious mind, a blank canvas is a source of terror, an absence that demands immediate, chaotic action. But to the master artist, the blank canvas is a field of infinite potential. It is a clear sky after a violent storm. It appears that Barış and Yağmur have learned to sit with this blankness. Instead of rushing to splash it with the garish colors of fleeting thrills or superficial applause, they breathe with it. They approach the silence of their private lives with intention. This ability to endure the pause, to exist in the in-between moments without panic, transforms their lives into a work of art that is distinctly their own. It is a rejection of the modern mandate to be constantly on, and an embrace of the slow, deliberate process of being human. To understand their current philosophy, we must rewind the tape and examine the geology of their careers. Success, for them, was not a gift wrapped in silk and handed over on a silver platter. Their foundation was built on the unglamorous, gritty reality of the grind. We are talking about years of auditions that felt like shouting into a void, entering crowded rooms only to be dismissed with a whisper. We are talking about workshops that drained their spirits yet sharpened their skills, the early morning call times that blur into late-night rewrites, and the sheer exhaustion of trying to break through a wall that seems impenetrable. They had to master the agonizing art of the slow burn. Every small role accepted, every risk taken on an obscure project, every rejection swallowed without bitterness was a deposit into a bank of character. This perseverance is the key to decoding their current demeanor. It tells us that beneath the designer clothes and the perfect lighting lives a core of discipline and grit. They learned, through the harsh lessons of obscurity, that the inner life, the dedication to the craft itself, matters infinitely more than the external noise of fame. This history keeps them grounded. They know the fragility of success because they have tasted the bitterness of the struggle. Yet, knowing the struggle does not immunize one against the unique melancholy of the summit. Emptiness wears many masks. There is the specific loneliness of being perceived by millions but truly known by very few. There is the hush that descends when the adrenaline of a live performance evaporates, leaving the body cold and the mind racing. There is the relentless, crushing pressure to evolve, to be better than the last project, to define perfect in a world where the definition shifts daily. At 3 a.m, when the world is asleep, the question, "What is this all for?" visits the famous and the unknown alike. The answer that Barış and Yağmur seem to reach for is profound. They do not seek to stuff this void with material possessions. Instead, they turn to their work as a form of excavation. When an actor truly commits to a role, they are often forced to confront parts of themselves they have kept hidden. Through the safety of a script, fear becomes something that can be named, longing becomes a visible entity, old wounds are allowed to breathe, and eventually scar over. Watch closely the next time you see Barış hold a moment of stillness, or observe how Yağmur allows vulnerability to flicker in her eyes before it bursts into flame. These are not just acting choices, they are acts of healing. They are mapping their inner landscapes with compassion, role by role, and inviting us to witness that vulnerability. This vulnerability extends beyond the screen and into the digital realm, creating a unique bond with their audience. The relationship they have cultivated with fans is not a one-way street of idolatry. It is a steady exchange of warmth. The soft expressions of gratitude, the genuine interactions in live chats, the small acknowledgements, these are not calculated public relations maneuvers. They are threads stitching together a tapestry of community. Emptiness often grows in the gap between people, in the isolation of modern life. Connection is the only force capable of shrinking that gap. By showing up authentically, by treating their audience not as consumers but as companions on a journey, Barış and Yağmur bring breath back into the room. They transform the solitary experience of fandom into a collective experience of belonging. We have had the privilege of watching them grow in real time. Growth, as we know, is never a straight, upward trajectory. It is rickety, filled with detours and dead ends. Some projects fail to launch, some dreams morph into something unrecognizable. The emptiness can flare up when the future becomes foggy. But resilience is the quiet art of standing back up while keeping one's heart soft. It is the ability to learn loudly from a fall without becoming cynical. And here lies the most challenging lesson for the romantics among us, the role of the partner. We are conditioned by fairy tales to believe that the perfect partner will complete us, filling all our cracks and soothing all our aches. But Barış and Yağmur model a healthier, more realistic dynamic. They do not appear to lean on each other as crutches, rather they lean toward each other as allies. A partner cannot be a permanent patch for a personal wound. What they can be is a mirror, a witness to your growth, and a sanctuary where you can rest while you do your own inner work. Their relationship enriches their individual journeys rather than erasing them. You see it in how they celebrate each other's victories without possessiveness, and how they allow losses to be lessons rather than definitions. They invest in boundaries, in health, in quiet time, the mundane, unsexy devotion to self-love that keeps a soul steady when the circus of celebrity is at its loudest. So, what is the ultimate takeaway from the saga of Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel? It is that the empty heart is not a life sentence. It is an invitation. It is a summons to sit with your own story without rushing to the next chapter. It is a challenge to learn the texture of your own thoughts, to identify what truly lights you up versus what merely distracts you. Imagine applying this to your own life. Instead of drowning your discomfort in endless scrolling or consumption, you step outside. You breathe. You ask what your soul actually requires today. Maybe it is a challenge that scares you, a conversation you have been avoiding, or a boundary you need to draw. You stop waiting for the applause to validate your existence and start building a life that whispers, "You are enough," to you in the quiet moments. Barış and Yağmur remind us that fulfillment is not a finish line to be crossed. It is the way you walk the path. It is how you greet a setback, how you savor a small victory, and how you show up for the people you love. Their story tells us that the twists in the road do not mean we have failed, they mean we are alive. Thank you for walking this path with us today on Whatever You Need. We hope this perspective on Barış and Yağmur resonated with you as deeply as it did with us. If this analysis sparked a thought, please leave a comment below, we read them all. Who should be the subject of our next video essay? Which Turkish star's journey deserves this level of detail? Let us know. And finally, if you enjoyed this content, please destroy that like button, subscribe to the channel, and consider clicking join to support our team directly. Your engagement allows us to keep creating high-quality, thoughtful content just for you. Until next time, take care of your heart, embrace the silence, and remember, we are here for whatever you need. Goodbye.